Szewczaks! It's me, Maja Szewczak. Welcome to the last Idea Sunday of 2023. Can't believe this year has gotten so fast. 21st of December, instead of a cabochon makeover, I'll just do a summary of all the ones I did from June to December. But that's for next week. This week, I find these cabochons. And I'll be trying to make them work because we've got a hat and an ice cream cone, and I could already see thinking, how will that work? I'm already thinking this way. I did buy this hat in Poland, not the last time but years ago. Still have it, then some thoughts were going, I know you like this, but did you really need it? It was too late until the thoughts that I don't care about this anymore are now being lifted off my mind, and now it's the time to combine it with this ice cream cone. However, the ice cream cone will need cutting in order to become something else. So, the first thing I'm going to do is to figure out how to use these together, because it kind of feels like a random mix, especially for me. I've cut the ice cream and the cone. I'm still figuring out what to do. You've already seen it in the title. However, at the time this was filmed, I was still thinking. I got so carried away of thinking, having art block, until I took out my Sylvanian family's baby windmill park. I took out the windmill. I have the set. There was also a slide in it, and a seesaw. Maybe this will help me figure out how I'm going to use these. Anyways, it could be also making an Idea Sunday involving a Sylvanian family set costume, as well as a cabochon makeover. Custom Sylvanian families playset plus cabochon makeover. Maybe that's what I've been looking for to make. But let's see. You've already seen it in the title, but still, just the time when I filmed this was like this, just figuring out how to use those pieces in it. I'm thinking of turning the hat into a hummingbird's head. So I'm going to string it on the wire. And I'm going to bend the wire like this. And let it go through the holes in it. In the right, and then we're going to bend it again. Painting it would sort of, affect the mechanism. I kind of don't want to affect the mechanism of the toy. I want it to still work. Hopefully, I'm not ruining anybody's childhood by customizing this thing for an Idea Sunday episode, even though I bought it brand new. Okay, now the bird needs its beak. The waffle cone looks a bit large, but I can always fix that with these scissors. I kind of find them good for cutting cabochons. Not to be weird, but still true. I've cut the cone, and the beak is still large, but I think this will do. So I'm going to lay the hat like this, glue the beak. I have to lay the hat to make sure it will stick, because I will have to let it dry flat before I move it, just to make sure what I'm trying to do works. Okay. I'm just trying to also make this look good in the end. Now I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to finish making a hummingbird, like adding a hummingbird to the Sylvanian family's windmill. I've glued on the beads to build up the shape that I wanted to have. I have to let it dry. However, it will not look like this in the final product. It's just the build-up base for it. From the hat, I'm building a hummingbird, a yellow one. Those fabric roses I bought in Poland, they will get yellow glitter glue. Before I glue them on the hummingbird, I mainly use the hat because of the hook it already had for adding the wire in. But you'll see the end result later. Now let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the footage where I add the glitter glue in. After painting the yellow glitter glue, I will let it dry and then put it on the hummingbird. For this side, I'm doing a macaron flower. I did something like it in art class, but I will not show that in the video. But still, I will be using this cabochon for a part of it. So, I'm going to build it up by gluing this here and then adding more beads to build up the shape that I want. Because I'm turning this into a macaron, we have glued the cabochon. Time for the beads. Just very carefully because I don't want to affect how this works. So, I will cut the beads, the star-shaped beads, and make them more like the cabochon that I'm looking at, and then glue it on to build up the shape that I want, the macaron shape. This is cuter than this colorful monstrosity. However, none of it will look like this. After it dries, it will be all fixed. I've painted the colorful monstrosity white. It would look better with the yellow roses glued onto it later. Now it has to dry before I can do that. After white paint have dried, I've glued the yellow roses onto the hummingbird. I knew this bead monstrosity wouldn't last forever with those. It looks better, more and more like a hummingbird. Still doesn't look like it, but it will get to that stage. And to make the hummingbird thing make sense in this, I'm going to use seashells from Mallorca to add the body to the hummingbird. They're glued on. Time to let them dry. Hopefully, it will not affect the way the mechanism works in this windmill. I have bad news. The seashell that I've glued on fell off. However, the good news are that these are now looking like hummingbird wings. So I guess I could stitch them on here to attach them. I've stitched on the fabric wings to the hummingbird seat. However, the macaron seat, I'm using leftover thread scraps to make the macaron flowers roots. However, it's like this. I know it sounds like I'm making something really weird, but I thought about it and this is part of the project. Don't be afraid to try something that you would think would be weird in art. But still, it's making the macaron seat. Maybe it will look good and you'll like the end result. We'll see. Then I move the thread when I've added the piece of plastic for the flower. They have to all dry, but the roots will build up as I use needle and thread. Then I'll glue it here. For the hummingbird would be yellow, while the background blue, but the background originally was yellow, so I painted it white before going with blue. And whenever the threads for the roots of the macaron flower were developing, I painted the macaron filling white, then I'll go with pastel pink. It all has to dry. There's some glitter applied here. You'll see the end result. I kind of want the color scheme to be specific, so for the roof, we're going to use this turquoise blue marker as a base of what I want to do. The turquoise blue is all over the roof. However, I wanted to have so many details that it feels like a Maja Szewczak artwork in 3D. Because I really like not only putting a lot of details into my dollhouse items, but also my drawings of different things. Maybe these sequins I got in Poland when I was visiting my grandfather, and I went to Polish shops that had cheap things from China, like they're made in China, and they had those sequins, and I'm thinking of putting them on the roof to add more color to it. Pretty. However, needs to dry. I even bought this glitter in Poland. And I've also used it. There was the color called Old Pink that I'm also going to add to the windmill. So I'm going to add a mixture of these colors to the windmill wheel. So everything is accordingly to the color scheme of the macaron hummingbird theme. The windmill has been colored in the colors of the theme, the macaron flower and the hummingbird theme. So this flower one has been colored purple and pink. But before the pink, I had to paint things white in it. And that's how it looks. The inside is also getting a makeover. However, that video will be in Polish. Okay, so I'm also going to show you the hummingbird. I have added a bead to make the beak longer, and I will be fixing up the colors, painted white to make it like a hummingbird with the yellow. So that's what I've been doing. However, the roots of the flower aren't finished yet, so we're going to color them amber. With this marker, now I'm going to color that white filling with yellow. I think it will be easier to use watercolor paints to finish this off. We've painted this yellow. The hummingbird still looks like a duck. That duck needs a beak that looks more like a hummingbird. Glued the beak. Time to let it dry. The beak have dried, and check this out. I can move the hummingbird head which I'm going to keep. And why is there wire in here, you ask? Well, I thought since there's holes in that where I could put the wire through it, I was thinking, what about giving the hummingbird some bird legs? Well, look how crazy detailed is the macaron. I want the hummingbird to be just the same level of crazy, unusual details added to it, just as much as the flower, with the macaron on the other side. Hey, why not? But I'll have to use beads to make the bird legs, even though hummingbirds have relatively short legs. I'll try not to make it like any other animal other than a hummingbird. I'm stringing the beads onto the wire because I want it to be possible, yet keep the hummingbird aspect. I'm okay with it looking cartoonish, but still keep the hummingbird aspect of it. So they can bend okay. Let's see how it looks. Because I'm filming with my front camera for that part where you can see my face in my studio. I think we're going to have to use dark forest green marker. Dark forest green is the darkest green marker that I own. And I want those legs to be dark green. So we're using that for the beads and the legs of the hummingbird. Just ignore something going on in the roof of my caravan, if you can hear it. Maybe it's my cats. My cats like climbing. They climb on the roofs of my caravan and climbing frames, but I have them. I don't go on climbing frames, but my cats do. Okay, that's what I got for the hummingbird. Wow. However, I would kind of want to make this leg a bit shorter than this one because this is longer, this is shorter. Much better. And it looks like a hummingbird, while I can still adjust its head in the right. That still works, as well as the joints, and this still works. So that's good. We wanted that. However, I have to finish the flower details here. Those flowers have stamens. While I was working on the stamens of the flower, I started thinking, those roots are showing just like underwater. I'm not going to use real water, but look at this. I kept thinking about the artwork, where they're originally from. And that artwork is made by me in art class. And those flowers, along with the macaron as part of it, are water flowers. So then I started thinking, should I add a pool for it? A pool? I think it's a good idea, since those are water anyways. And I kind of wanted something for here. And maybe I'll think about here, but we'll see. So here I have a container from those bead and sequin boxes from the range. They used to have them, now they sell them out for very cheap, 40 pence now or something. Very, very cheap. So if you live in the UK and find those at the range, then you can take advantage of the sale and use it. It will be good for your doll houses. And now we have this. There's foam adhesives, but I'll cover them in cardboard to make a pool for the macaron water lily. Covered in cardboard, but what about the inside? I'm going to mix glue and white acrylic paint for the base of the pool tiles. I was thinking of something here for the hummingbird, just to add in something that would be the same level as the thing for the flower. But look, the hummingbird is facing this way. But the legs are posable. And I was thinking, should there be a flower that hummingbirds like? But look at this. What about wire? So glue wire here and then build it up into a plant. Then I thought, let's glue this here along with a bush. And the bush will be made with a green pom-pom. And now it's time for the glue to dry with the wire and the pom-pom added. I've colored the parts of it green. It did come off with the wire, so I stitched it into the pom-pom and the pom-pom is glued on. Has to dry. However, I want the bush to look not just like the flower is just here for the hummingbird. I kind of want some more going on in it. So I'm thinking of what to do in here. The grass here was a little bit too long, so I've cut it and gave it here, just so materials wouldn't be wasted. Even though I was still thinking about this part. It did take me some time to think about the area for the bush, and I've been searching Pinterest, and I cannot get on Pinterest without seeing this now. I was just looking at some cute toys, and this was like coming up all the time. And I'll show you another picture of this doll that I've seen on Pinterest and what she does. Her earrings, her bracelet, and her bow light up, and I think that heart in her chest also lights up, which got me thinking, should I try something like this but different for the bush? And credit goes to the people who posted this on Pinterest. I didn't have this doll, but I got inspired by it since I've been seeing it on Pinterest so many times I couldn't get on it without seeing it. So why not put that inspiration to use? I've had this failed attempt at making a hummingbird lady. Well, I've tried to make a video of her in Polish, but I've scrapped it. And look at this. For a video in English, I've decided to give her another chance to be finished. Since she has a posable beak and everything, legs, but she needs her wings. And here I've cut some holes in the tulle fabric so the light would come through it, because that hummingbird lady is getting earrings that will light up if I use LED lights with her. But let's finish first the pom-pom for her head. Now the giant hummingbird has her body covered in fabric and the tail and the wings. However, I would want to work on the beak since it looks kind of weird. That's right. For this layer, for the inside, I'm going to paint it black with the black watercolor paints. And the outside, this color, I find it hard to describe, but I'll use it. I think I'll leave the beak the way it is. Time for the body to be colored with yellow watercolor paints. Okay, so I've colored her entire body yellow. So now I'm going to, before gluing it here, I'm going to stitch her legs to that pom-pom because I kind of want it fixed to that area. I want her to be fixed there. Then I'm going to glue her, then her pom-pom, then I'll pose her because that's the mother and that's the son. I kind of want to pose her. Come here, my son. Way like the mother giving her son a hug each time he comes to her. The hummingbird is heavier than the pom-pom, so hopefully it will not come off after the glue dries, because I know this hummingbird is heavier than the pom-pom. Let's try and hope nothing happens to it, like it popping off, because the flower was kind of doing that when it shouldn't have, but it happened in my case. So let's just not touch it until it completely dries. Hopefully the mother will not come off. Otherwise, I have to think of something that will prevent her from coming off. And meanwhile, decided to add a table from a button that has some lace glued onto it, then foam adhesive on a plate, because we're kind of making like the mom has cooked some dinner for her son and the hummingbird family is about to eat. So, but eat what? Keep watching and find out. From the sink that I did for the Mellow family, I'm going to take the pink glitter with the flower petals. So we're going to glue it on to decorate the plate. However, before that, I've decided that I'll color it purple. So I tried electric purple, but I was thinking, what about a darker purple with a tint of red in it? Let's see. Dark purple plate. Time for foam adhesive it again and glue pink flower petals to it. I'm kind of making it all a statue in the park, so it's not going to be removable. It will be just a decoration of the windmill. Anyways, however posable, I never knew how detailed can those sculptures get. Like, I would treat the table and the plate like a sculpture. I'm not going to put food in it, like food for doll houses, because it will be kind of the thing that the dolls can put something in there for the hummingbirds, for the animatronics of the hummingbird or something, because not real people eat there. The animatronics of the hummingbirds eat there. So that's what I'm imagining this to be. To the pom-poms that were holding well, but the ones that had the wire inside with the flower and the giant hummingbird, they had to be stitched onto the pom-poms that were holding up well. I kind of want the hummingbird lady, that is the mother of that other hummingbird ride, to be posable just like an animatronic at a park or somewhere. So I thought about permanently fixing her wing onto a pom-pom here, but I've scrapped it. So the hummingbird will be posable, however fixed onto the bush. And I'll show you what I mean. Here's the hummingbird son and mother. So that's what will be going on in here. The mother is calling her son for some dinner that the dolls can just put in here. That's what's going on at that side. And this is the finished design for the bush and hummingbird side of the windmill. Let's have a look at the flower side, and I'll tell you a story about how I did it. While the paint and the gluey mixture was drying on the pool, and the hummingbird's flower was also drying, I've decided to draw some ideas for the pool, just so I could picture how will the finished product of it look like. And to be honest, I like them all so much that I'm going to combine all of those ideas into it. And while this here was still drying, decided to cut the cardboard to make it like the fabric of the jam jar design for the pool that I was going after. After drawing all of these, just so I would think of how this will turn out in the end. So I have to cut it to the right shape, trying to avoid areas where there's foam adhesives, and it would get the effect that I wanted for it. Okay, now we have this. Now it's time to paint this here so it doesn't look like cardboard. I like to check everything just in case this shows, because this is transparent and this is not. It's opaque here. So have to make things on the inside look as good. Masked away the areas that I don't want painted. The ones that I'm keeping transparent. So it stays transparent. So that's why I mask things before painting, so the unwanted areas don't get painted. Okay, we're doing a jam jar design for the pool, kind of like this. This is like the fabric, but it's not fabric, but it will look like a fabric. So I've decided to make the inside of the pool ceramics, because they usually use ceramics for swimming pools. But it's not a swimming pool, it's a pool for the flower. But you get the idea. We're going to use a pink marker, and we're doing a pink gingham design. The gingham design will also carry to the other side of the fabric of the jam jar cover. But I will start with this first. And if you can see a dollhouse bird in the background, while things dry, I'm productive and making birds, because yes, they are part of the design. And it's like we're not wasting any time. We're using it well for this episode. So it's starting to look like a pink picnic blanket, which I was going for. The look that makes it, like a picnic blanket. But it's not a picnic blanket, it's just the pool that looks like it. I don't think anybody a part of me would ever come up with such ideas. Neither my friends do, but we're going to now think about where to put this. It's like a scarlet parrot with a tulip flower on a leaf. So, area where there is no masking tape would get this leaf stitched on somewhere as part of the design. Something was still drying. And around the scarlet parrot, I was stitching on sequins, wool colored green, and thread knots for flowers because it's parrot birds lovers' favorite spot and part floral extravaganza design and part swimming flowers in a jam jar. Then I'm thinking macaron sweetness all over design. I'm not sure if it will work at all. We've got the macaron theme, but I'm thinking of scrapping that out of the combination, even though I do like it. I'm scrapping it from this combo because I think first of all would be a bit too much. I wouldn't know how to combine it in a way that works, and the flower is already a macaron, and I kind of don't want to do too much macaron. We need a balance of everything. This layer dried opacity the way I want it. Time to remove the masking tape. So, we're going to then finish the picnic blanket design. After removing the tape, I now have this. Oh, wow. This video is costing me a lot of my phone storage with all of it in it. I was making more birds for the pool. I'll not show you how I've made the birds because that will make the whole video last longer than an hour. I only want this video to last an hour, so that's why. Anyways, what color is the jam going to be? I've decided to do a apricot jam that is going to be yellow, orange, kind of yellow, kind of orange. But I will let you see the birds in the final product. Just not going to show you how I've made them, but still, the way I've made them was just beads, wire, and stitching fabric and beads onto them. That's how I've made this one. Now, I may want to make it a little bit orange, just to get the color right, the way I want it to be. That looks just the way I want it to look. However, I will decorate this area and all the corners with flowers and birds. The birds have been added to each corner of the pool, but this one will have a peacock added here on the ground, just to make it different from the other birds that fly. But peacocks do fly a little bit, but they wouldn't fly away to other continents. I have glued him some features, but I will add him when he dries. But still, we're going to work on here to make the jam have details in it like fruit particles. I thought this orange glitter would be good for the flavor. I'm thinking apricot flavor already, so it's time to glue it onto the pool. And then sprinkle it all over the glued areas. And before that dries, look at this with the lamp. Everything dried. Time to conclude the episode. At first, I was really trying to consider what to do with those cabochons until I find the Sylvanian family's windmill. It gave me a good idea to try a cabochon makeover with Sylvanian family's playset to see how I would pull it off with my ideas added onto it. And there's so much going on. So Maja Szewczak, and so colorful and creative. I wish I could have came up with that sooner. Then I would already see what to do with this cabochons. But these cabochons actually worked, but you don't really notice them anymore. The ice cream was in the macaron, and the other pieces went to the hummingbird. They've been customized to the point that you won't believe it. But anyways, that's the end of the episode. What do you think of it? Please tell me in the comments. And bye, Szewczak. See you in another Idea Sunday. And I will see you on 21st of December for a summary of them all. But anyways, bye!